and Siri for turning out for this man. The RUC thought that this wouldn't happen today, but it has happened. And we would like to thank everybody that has came. He deserves more than this. He is a legend in our eyes and always will be in the Republican movement. And we would like once again, just to thank you all for coming. Now, I'm going to call up Chris McCormick on behalf of the prisoners with a short statement. Thank you.
Republican prisoners in Maghaberry Jail wish to extend our fraternal support and fond memories on the unveiling of a mural in remembrance of Kevin Hannaway and to all his family, friends and comrades. Kevin was a dedicated and committed Irish Republican who never faltered in his efforts to further the cause of Irish freedom. In life and in death, Kevin remains an inspiration to all Republican prisoners and all those who share the ideals who so proudly hovel to his last breath. Republican prisoners, Maghaberry Jail.
Thank you, Chris. Now, I would like to call up Eva Shannon to say a few words. Better comment.
Hello everybody. Today is to honour a truly remarkable man, Kevin. He was deeply respected by everyone who knew him, and he was a man principled, firm in his beliefs, unwavering in his values, constant in the way he lived his life. You always knew where you stood with him. His word meant everything, and actions always followed through. What stood out most was Kevin's generosity. He gave without fuss and never looked for praise. He always showed up when someone needed help, because that's who he was. Kevin loved his country, Ireland, with a passion. He believed in its land, its people and its culture. You could have listened to Kevin talk all day long with history. It shaped who he was and how he saw the world. He taught us how to live with honour and purpose. Although he may be gone, his legacy remains in our memories and in our values and in the way we carry ourselves forward. May we remember him not just with sadness, but with great gratitude and pride. Thank you.
Right, I would like to call up Dermot, Sean's brother, or Kevin's brother, and the Wreath on behalf of the Hannaway family. I would like to call on Chris to lay one for the Siri. Tucker on behalf of the IRPWA, Belfast. And Vinnie Kelly on behalf of the Republican movement. The names, is there backs in them? No, just set them. Now I would like to ask Dermot and Eva to take down the plastic from the picture. Thank you. The unveiling. Stephen Murney to say a few words. Thank you.
Friends and comrades, I'll have to begin, of course, by mentioning the disgraceful actions of the Crown Forces in the past few days, who set out to try and prevent this mural from being unveiled. They rightfully received a huge backlash, and the entire episode was effectively a PR disaster for them. So much so that yesterday evening they were forced to return the mural with their tails between their legs. Special thanks to all the Republican groups and individuals who offered us support at the time, and special thanks to everyone for turning up here today in the face of such heinous repression. On the other hand, anyone who continues to offer support to the forces of British occupation should hang their heads in shame. We gather here today with heavy hearts, yet with unbending pride, to honour and commemorate the life of a true Irish revolutionary, volunteer Kevin Hannaway, a lifelong Republican, a committed soldier of the Irish Republican Army for 60 years, and an unwavering servant of the struggle for national liberation and socialism. Kevin was not merely a man of words or sentiment. He was a volunteer who stood in defence of his community when it was under occupation, and who carried the burden of armed struggle with courage and discipline. In the darkest days of British repression, when fear stalked the streets of Belfast, Kevin did not waver. He stepped forward, not for glory, not for reward, but because he believed with every fibre of his being that the Irish people have an unalienable right to freedom and sovereignty. Kevin was not a man of half measures or easy compromises. He was a dedicated soldier of the Irish Republican Army, a fighting man who took up arms in a war that was forced upon us by centuries of occupation, oppression and British imperial violence. Kevin Hannaway was not a peacekeeper. He was not a careers politician. He was a revolutionary soldier of the Irish Republican Army, and also a senior officer of the IRA from the 1960s when he was first imprisoned. At different periods during the 70s and 80s, he served as Adjutant General of the Irish Republican Army and is also reported to have served as Quartermaster General. As recent as 2020, Kevin once again found himself in Portlaoise as a prisoner of war on IRA charges, and he remained an IRA volunteer up until the day he died. He endured the brutalisation of prison and the cruelty of internment, during which he was among those singled out for torture, known as the Hooded Men. Like so many of his generation, Kevin was forged in the crucible of resistance. He walked the landings and prison yards with dignity and pride. He knew what it meant to be criminalised by the British state, but he never accepted that criminalisation, not in body, not in spirit. Up until his death, he held Irish Republican prisoners in high esteem, and he had a special place in his heart for them, just as they had for him. To his comrades, he was a source of strength. To his enemies, he was defiant and fearless until the end. Kevin never sold out, he never compromised, and never lost sight of the goal, a 32-county socialist republic. He rejected the hollow peace and partition, the false promises of reform, and the treachery of those who exchanged revolution for careers and comfortable lives. In remembering Kevin, we are reminded of the thousands who came before and the many still to come. We do not speak of the past to mourn only, but to recommit ourselves to the unfinished task that Kevin sacrificed his life. Kevin's legacy will not be written by the revisionists, the career politicians, or the enemies of Irish freedom. It will be written in our actions, in our resistance, and in our unshakable determination to end British rule in Ireland. To the so-called leaders who speak of peace, while British troops still occupy our country, while MI5 still operate with impunity, and while our young people and families are still harassed, brutalised with house raids and stop and searches, we say this: Kevin Hannaway was more a leader than you will ever be. He led with action, not applause, with resistance, not reconciliation. To Kevin's family, we offer our heartfelt condolences. Your grief is still shared by comrades across Ireland and beyond. You can be proud of the life he lived and the cause he served. To the youth, let Kevin's life be your example. Stand firm, be disciplined, be courageous, know your history, and never forget the struggle continues. Oglach Kevin Hannaway, IRA volunteer, comrade and patriot. Thank you.